What's it been like with Coach Balstad and the limited time that you've been with him so far?
Yeah, it's been good. We met him, I think, before winter break, so we didn't really get a good feel for what he was like on the field, but we got a little feel of what he was like in the meeting room. But he brings a lot of intensity to the room, definitely on the field, and but you could tell he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's coached in the NFL. He's coached a while at Wisconsin, so he knows the ins and outs of playing offensive line and coaching it. So, yeah, it's been good so far.
How has the elements of practice changed? Has it become more physical, or are you doing more one-on-ones with the defensive line? Just what has changed in that regard?
It's definitely gotten a lot more physical. We do a lot of work with the D-line, whether that's one-on-one, pass rush or pods or inside run. There's a lot of physicalness that goes on with the O-line, D-line, and I think it's good. It makes us both better, and it gives us more of a kind of a live feel of what a game's going to be like, because you can only do so much when O-line's kind of servicing the O-line, but when you get the defensive line against the O-line, it kind of gives us that live feel. So it's been good.
What's the breakdown or debrief of practice when it's in film or just going over certain strategy with a guy like Bostad?
Yeah, because he's so intelligent with offensive line, we watch every single part of practice, whether that's drills, one-on-ones, team, inside, and we break it down. I mean, he goes from left tackle to right tackle and breaks down what he thinks you've done good, what he thinks you can do better. And it's been like that with our previous O-line coaches, but that's what every O-line coach does, is just the way they break. Maybe the way they break down film is different, but it's all kind of the same when you're in the meeting rooms.
You mentioned going up against the D-line a lot more. Who in that unit gives you the toughest matchup and who's shown up to you?
Well, I think, me and LD, Ladarius Cox, we battle probably the most. And then, PJ, Lucas, we battle a lot. And then I think Nick James, who's a younger guy, he gives a great look. He's fast off the ball. He's fast twitch. He comes off low. So I think, those three guys, Andre Carter, one of the new transfers, he's a really good player. So I think all four of those guys give a tough battle in the trenches so far.
What about the guys you're lining up next to? What stuck out the most about them?
Yeah, I think the whole cohesiveness of the O-line has come together a lot. I've played next to Zach Carpenter for going on 3 years now. When Bedford comes back, we'll be, I've been with him for 5 years. And Khalil played a lot of football last year. Josh played a lot of football last year. So I think we're very comfortable with each other, and that makes it easier to communicate and make calls and work double teams. And so I think the cohesiveness and communication has been really good this spring ball so far.
Has there been any younger guys in the offensive line group that you've seen develop a lot this offseason?
Yeah, I think Bray Lynch has made a big jump from last spring ball or last fall season to spring ball. He's working in well, and he's played really well. I think Will Larkins is the newest guy, and Max Longman. I think Max, being an older transfer, he brings experience to the offensive line. He seems like it's not that big of an adjustment for him, just because he's worked with Coach Bell as well at UMass. But Will Larkins, he's kind of still in that early adjustment period like any other early enrollee. So he's probably going to take a little bit more time to kind of feel comfortable. But no, those guys are coming along well, and yeah, we're excited.
What have you seen from Carter Smith? He's been lined up next to you out there
Yeah.
at left tackle. He played a little bit last year in the fall.
Yeah.
How much has that helped him this spring as far as the adjustment and knowing what it takes?
Yeah, I think especially with the departure of Luke Haggard, me and him were playing next to each other on that side of the ball for a couple years. So it's kind of, you get in this weird transition phase when you're playing with a guy for so long, and then a new guy comes in. So I'm just trying to use my experience to kind of get him up to speed on how I play, and I'm trying to get a feel for how he plays so we can kind of work together better. But no, he plays mature, I'll say. I think he got in a little bit in the Ohio State game last year, and I think he brings I think that game matured him, and I think he's bringing more of a mature style to his game, especially with the ones, because he's rolling with the ones. But there's a lot of experience up front on the with the one group, so he needs to just play mature, keep adding, and keep learning more from everyone, and yeah, he'll be in a good spot.
Is there any kind of adjustment that it takes for you guys on the line when you've got a lot of inexperience at quarterback behind you and you're lining up out there?
Not really. I'd say we kind of trust Coach Bell to kind of get those guys ready to go, but we just do the best we can to protect those guys, and we kind of just put all our trust in them to, make the plays. But we're going to do our part and kind of let them do their part.
You mentioned it before.
Last one from Mike.
You mentioned it before. You've been here for a while. What's pushing you this year to try to bring change up front to the offensive line and lead to success for the whole team?
Yeah, I think it's just something that I've been really trying to do is work on my leadership, and obviously the past 2 years has not been real good for the O-line, so we kind of really want to prove to all the noise out there that we can play and we can protect and we can be dominant on the field. So I think it's just everything surrounding kind of the outside is what's kind of giving us some motivation, because we know that we can do it. We know we can be a good group, but we just have to execute and put all the pieces together.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys.